You know, that is gone. Those frequencies that really hurt your ears. Let me show you. This. So this EQ is basically to control these frequencies. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how I've mixed the guitars for this particular song that we've been working with lately. This is a rock song from a Portuguese band, as I said before, and for these guitars we actually recorded all the guitars here in my studio because this is my kitchen, and we've used my amp that is right here at the back, my PV5150, and we also used this pedal, so the MXR GTOD, which is basically a clone of the Tube Screamer from Ibanez, and then we've used the Super Overdrive from Boss ST1. These pedals are really well known because they sound great for rock music, heavy rock music. It's fantastic. It does what needs to be done, basically cuts the low end and makes everything tighter. That's what we want. Keep in mind we didn't use an actual speaker, so we've been using my Two Notes. After that we used impulse responses of speakers, basically. I don't remember which ones, to be honest, but all the time what I do is that we record the sound that we want straight into the computer, so there's no coming back. Straight into the computer, like if it was tape back in the day. So let's jump into the project, let's dive in, and I'll show you how I've mixed the guitars. So let me show you what's going on. Green, because on this particular track we are using the green pedal from MXR, and then yellow because we are using the yellow pedal. That way we make this, it's the same guitar tracked twice, one left and the other one right, but because they sound different from each other or slightly different from each other, it gives you a wider kind of sensation, okay? So it's not exactly the same. What I've got here, I've got these guitars, all these guitars, from here until here. As you can see, all of these guitars, they go into a bus. And I believe, yeah, I've got almost nothing. So these two guitars, I'm highlighting here, they've got literally nothing. Everything is happening on the master bus for the guitars, for these guitars, okay? So let me show what's going on the master bus. PX console. Actually, let me play everything without any processing whatsoever. Now with processing. Okay, let me show you what's going on one by one. So PX console, what's going on here? Not doing anything to the top end. I'm rolling off actually until 8K roughly. So all the way from, what's this, 30K to 8K, there's nothing happening. Okay, so I'm cutting everything above. And I'll show you why. I'll show you why. So after that, I'm not compressing anything. I'm cutting 1.5 dBs at 482. You know, those honky frequencies. The width of the Q is 1.8. And then I'm adding almost 7 dBs, as you can see, at 230. And why? Probably because it was too thin and I needed to make it a little bit punchier. Okay, so that's that. Without PX console and then with. Now with. The difference is not huge, but you know, there's a difference there and there's a reason for everything. Okay, after that, I've got this EQ. What is going on here? So this is basically controlling, you can hear some really nasty frequencies at this point, and I'm going to show you both of these frequencies. And it's super important to control this, because otherwise your guitars will sound extremely fatiguing when they sound way too emphasized. It's really annoying. Let me show you without this EQ. And now with. You know, that is gone. Those frequencies that really hurt your ears. Let me show you. This. So this EQ is basically to control these frequencies. So this is a little bit more complex. I'm cutting everything under 83 Hertz and then everything above 11K. Then we've got a dip here at 135 Hertz roughly. And then there's a huge dip here, which is basically, as you can see here, it's a dynamic EQ because I'm controlling this particular frequency, which is 150, 146. And without, with. Without. Huge difference. And this now we've got two more guitars here. It works as a passage note from one section of the song to another section of the song. One of the guitars has nothing, and the other one, the second one, has this delay here. And let me show you what's going on. So basically, I'm doing an automation to the width. Every time they strum, it gets wider and wider and wider. And the other one, the guitar above, has nothing and it stays exactly in the middle. And then we've got another guitar over here. And this guitar here is to emphasize these palm mutes and to make sure that everything gets stronger before it hits the other part of the song. So from here it goes to the verse. So it's almost like a crescendo, and then it will go to the verse. It will come down. From here, let's go to the verses. Okay, so what we've got here. When we go to these tracks, once again, I've got nothing on these two particular guitars. And then another bus, guitar verse has another bus. And here I've got one plugin and only one plugin, this console. And what am I doing here? Well, I'm cutting everything until 87, 90 hertz-ish, and then pushing 7 dBs at 7.5K, pushing 3 dBs at 3.2K, and then pushing 2.4 dBs at 100-ish hertz. And let me show you how it sounds before and after. By the way, I'm compressing a little bit as well. It's not here yet, but when I go here to this section of the song, I reckon it's compressing a bit. And that's because there's another guitar here, and as you can see, nothing. So everything is happening right here with this plugin. We've got this, just another guitar to emphasize, to make the second verse slightly different from the first one, a bit fuller as well. Okay, and there's some automation here at the end level, just to make it sound a bit more exciting as well. Okay, so we've got, after that, we've got okay, so let's see what's going on here. There are two EQs, and the first one is to cut everything and anything that doesn't matter for this particular sound. So this sound, we were aiming to get some kind of nastier sound, just to make it pop a bit more, just to make it different from everything else. It's almost like if it was, imagine like a saw, you know, just to cut through the mix and make it completely different from anything else we heard on the track before. And then, okay, so sorry, let me just show you what's going on here. Okay, so I'm cutting at 81 hertz and cutting again at 13K, and dynamic EQ once again, and this is 150 hertz, and I'm taming these frequencies. It's, you know, basically to cut the muddiness of the guitar, but then is lacking those frequencies that makes it cut through the mix in a more, you know, angry way, if you will. So what's going on here? Let's see. Once again, dynamic EQ, once again, 146, 150-ish. Okay, cutting once again, 80 hertz, and cutting once again 13 hertz. And I'm taming frequencies at 2K roughly and 3K roughly as well. And then I'm pushing 3.7 dBs at 1.6K and pushing as well at 7.7K. That's the way we can make it cut through the mix. So now let's get to this section of the song, and here it sounds a little bit different. I've used another plugin, don't remember exactly why, but I've used it for a reason for sure. So let's have a listen. This is the sound of it without any plugins, okay, here. But sometimes to make things sound bigger, we've got to cut other things. You know, there's a compromise, or most of the times actually. Okay, so I'm using this channel. This is a Focusrite BX console. And what am I doing here? Basically, I'm pushing 2.6 dBs at 3.3K. I'm not doing anything here, not doing anything here. What else? High passing and compressing a little bit. No, I'm not compressing anything. So this is pretty much it. There's nothing else happening. And then Pro Q3, and what's going on here? Okay, once again, this tip. Is this a dynamic EQ? No, this is actually a cut. Pushing 2 dBs at 8K, cutting 2.2K, cutting everything under 78 Hertz, and cutting a lot at 155. And this is because of the bass. I'm quite sure it's because of the bass. Yeah, so the bass is playing exactly the same line, it's playing exactly the same thing, and these two instruments were fighting against each other, so one of them needs to win, and that's the reality. And in this particular case, because it was playing exactly the same thing, I kept the bass being the strongest part in the low end than the guitar, because it's compensating the guitar. And then we've got the guitar solo. What's going on here? Let me see what's going on here. We've got Claro. As you can see, it's not doing a lot because the sound of the solo, it was already done previously. And we've got this. Controlling the low end, cutting everything under 97, and then a cut at 145. And then we've got this delay happening here. And this delay, it's more to give it some more width than actually working as a delay, because you cannot hear the delay in the mix, to be honest. A little bit of reverb, and that's it. Okay, so this is it for the guitars. As you can see, there is not a lot happening, and the trick is to basically commit to the sound. Try to record as closer as you can to the sound that you've got in your head, the sound that you can hear in your head. After, it's going to be a breeze to work with the tracks, because you don't have to apply as much processing as you probably would, which is always a good thing, believe me, because this is almost like driving a car. It's not supposed to be backwards but forward. And if you approach your recordings this way, I'm quite sure you're going to be much happier, and it's going to be easier for the mix process after the recording process. So I hope you like the video. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, leave your comment down below, let me know if you like this video or not, because if you don't like it, it's cool, still, no problem at all. And I'll see you soon in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye.